Do any adults think that there should be adult playgrounds? I hope they should be recording, yes. So, the reason why I want to bring this up, sure, if my videos do get viewed by many people and whatnot, I was viewing a video, or I guess you could say it's a VOD live stream of Ray Norris Jr. He's basically a person that I have been viewing for a while that does Pokemon Stadium Let's Plays to Mario Party Let's Plays with his friends and whatnot. They're playing Mario Strikers Classic for the GameCube. And for some reason, it makes me think, Dion, you should definitely talk about this. This would help so many of us adults, especially us Americans. I think this should be going towards Americans, right? I'm not sure what Japan has, for example. Basically, think about when you are a child. When you play on a playground, right? You would go on to, let's just say, those little cute slides, or if you basically play on the merry-go-round till you get a little dizzy, to let's just say, well, tetherball's little dangerous. Well, wall ball, adults play that more than kids, I'm sure. And I'm trying to think of what else. You would climb up those little cool, it's not a fence, but it's like a quilt, but it's not a quilt. Those little ropes, right? And you actually have the little cute foam that looks like rocks. I don't remember the name of it. It's not styrofoam, but it's the foam that's really soft. That way, for children that would fall, they won't get concussions or die. Because, well, hell, even for us humans, our skulls can be, well, depending on the person, can be quite delicate. I don't know why we don't actually have playgrounds for adults, even though I did find the adorable image of these elderly adults at our playground. Most of them are men, I believe. Well, please pardon me for the awful quality. Basically, it's just a playground, but for adult size, right? And this man, well, you can't really see much. Ron, that's supposed to be. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really I'm clinically depressed. That's why I'm kind of having a sluggish speech. One that was grabbing on some round triangle. Think about monkey bars, but it's not monkey bars. Wait, is it Dion? I don't think it's monkey bars. No, I don't know what's called. One that looks like he's just running on a metal horse. And Ron that looks like it's not a slide, but that you basically put your feet in. That looks dangerous. I don't know how that works. I guess it could be in gymnastic. I'm not sure what country this is in. But for some odd reason, I'm thinking us adults should basically do have playgrounds because of how in our human society, we basically are not as outgoing as we used to be, so to speak. What I mean by that is how more of us are becoming more obese and how we actually have less third spaces, that they call it, when you actually can go out with your friends to a park. Well, we do have parks, right? At least where we used to live. I still miss my apartment, 260. I want to move back. I'm never going to forgive that family, and not to mention the darn adult kids that want to gaslight me, saying that I shouldn't have their mother's mouth. Well, yeah, your mother was very harassing me, and you two are basically mistreating me, and I got that recorded, by the way. I want that to be reliable for what they did. And I had to clean up their mess. I didn't like it. Not at all. Not to mention the autistic man that kept bothering me when I was live streaming, and I feel awful because he has special needs. You know, that's to give him the pass to be stubborn, so to speak, and bother me when I'm asleep. Didn't like that for a week straight. We don't really have many places to go. That's why so many of us are inside. Now, I know it was probably like this in the past as well, but not as common. Let's just say in the 80s when we didn't have social media, we were a more dangerous society back then, right? Especially since we didn't have smartphones. If someone would kidnap you, or if you basically are in danger, you can actually document your crimes and basically get a GoFundMe for hospital bills and whatnot because you're on your own. It's a mixed bag. Every generation has their own issues. It's really insane to think about it. But especially for us Americans, I've been seeing a couple of videos lately of how we actually do not have, let's just say, walking space, right? It's our streets, at least where I'm from, is not that walkable because, well, we are much younger than the rest of the country, so that's why we kind of grew up on vehicles, right? But the thing is, I feel that sometimes we don't have enough parks. Not to mention of how we should basically have adult-sized parks, or let's just say playgrounds. So think about swings, right? That's one thing that I miss in my childhood, especially since I'm really short. That wouldn't be a problem for me because I am kid size, right? So I can easily wide on the. Imagine if I was in middle school, because I know there'll be a ton of middle schoolers are much taller than me, right? Because middle schools they go up until, yeah, I think it's age 14. I think so, yeah. And how their 14-year-olds are practically giants compared to me, and I can ride on swings no problem. That's one thing that we should have, but let's just say for adults are much bigger because I mean, come on, there are, let's just say, 13-year-olds, I'm sure, that are 6 foot, right? It would be unfair if they can't ride on swings, and they're in middle school, right? Imagine in the 7th grade, you're basically 5'9", right? And you are unable to ride on swings. That's one thing. Or basically having monkey bars, right? If basically kids can be the size of an adult, then why can us adults basically have that? Just basically have a playground for all ages. I mean, us adults, we basically go to parks where there are children around with other families, right? We're just interacting with others and minding our own business. And we should have more of that. I mean, it's not just monkey bars, but oh yeah, that's right, the monkey gym, right? We should have that, swings, and of course we have that cool styrofoam. That way, for people that may have brittle bones or just a little weak, especially for the elderly that want to basically get some exercise, are able to play on those, right? I can't think of any other type of basically, let's just say, um, outdoor equipment. If you basically think about Wipeout or Ninja Warrior, especially American Ninja Warrior, those are the ones I've been thinking about because I used to watch those growing up. And those we sort of Wipeout. Oh my goodness, it really helped my depression and suicidal thoughts when I used to watch that when I was a teen. I'm not kidding. It's been around that long. I love Wipeout. I mean, I think they even have it in England. But I think us Americans started Wipeout. It's a classic. I really appreciate our country for that. And it kind of concerns me because of how we tend to be more depressed, but it's still somehow taboo for some odd reason. We are always trapped inside, especially what happened during COVID. I'm not surprised that the suicide rate is so high during that time, and also like a bunch of teeth. And basically, people that, oh, pardon me, cannot form friendships so easily, especially someone that does have zero friends, unless you can count, well, Dumbo, for example, that's an online friend. That counts, right? Because he's on my live streams and he basically keeps me healthy mentally whenever I talk to him. And along with others, this is like he's the most active, as though my other viewers has ditched me, but I try not to take it to heart since they have other stuff going on in their lives. So I just have viewerships are just not active, and we need more of those spaces. Also, malls need to be still active as well, because if you go and search dead malls, since people like to shop online now. However, though, for people that may not have the internet, they should be able to basically go to a mall and maybe get a huge giant lollipop if they want, or maybe get some delicious turtles, right? Or heck, some delicious caramel popcorn that you actually could just snack inside of the mall. Also, one thing I don't like, right, is that if you're, I think that depending on where you live, some malls get really, really strict on you filming inside. I never know why. When I see people in the mid 2000s, the 80s, 90s even, that would just document around malls, they don't get told you're not allowed to be filming. I don't understand why that's a crime. It's so dystopian, as though we're living in a cyberpunk era that if you have a camera around you, you're breaking the law, as though you're a spy. And then the security guards are basically robots telling you, nope, 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 you can't be doing this. Or we're going to take you to the AI headquarters and we're going to brainwash your brain with AI. I don't know, right? Or with an AI chip. And then you got to be punished for a week in robotic jail. I don't know. It's insane to me. And yet, you would get trespassed just because you want to film around them all, right? I think that's just dumb. At least, well, as much as I despise pranksters, I would see that even the ones that didn't act inappropriately, they would get told you're not allowed to film, right? I think that's just ridiculous. You know, that's another thing. And yet there are security cameras. Yes, I know that's supposedly for everyone's safety inside the public area, but you're in a public place at the same time. I just think that's hypocritical, right? This is weird to me. And I just thinking this is becoming a global issue, or at least more of an American issue, because of how we don't really have much places to go, and we're always had to be sheltered. We shouldn't be. You know, I know back in middle school, I still remember I busted my lip when I asked one of my classmates if they're okay, and I got so much attention because I was bleeding. Oh my goodness. I was in, yeah, I think we were in the, oh my gosh, the third grade when that happened, I think? Yeah. And then something else happened in the, long story on that. But we would basically would have dodgeball, we would have track. You know, heck, we in some parks there should be a little track field. That way you can jog and get some exercise, right? And of course, having some other equipment. Again, with the monkey gym, the monkey bars, right? Not to mention, it's kind of hot when I see it. Let's just say a guy upside down, you can see his little stomach, right? I know that's a little bit weird because my very first crush used to do that. Miguel, he was Mexican and he liked to pretend to be a bat. So I blushed every time that he did that. And he had a nice body. I remember that. Yeah, I was 8 and I have good memory. He looked like Miguel from Coco. It's kind of strange thinking about it. But because we would go out and play a lot on the playground. So maybe that's what made me feel nostalgic, talks, right? And heck, even basically bringing chalk, playing hopscotch, and maybe having a little station that at the end of the day when you're done, you could just wash it off with some, I don't know, some type of hand soap or whatever, or foam or something. That way, for other people that want to play hopscotch, you know, it'll be a clean spot for them. However, they want to play it, right? And of course, basically having a volleyball area. Of course, basketball, definitely. I know I have basketball courts, but I know some places or cities don't actually have those. Basically, one of my parks around the neighborhood that we used to live in, it was a huge park. I think it was the largest park in our city. It's in the Glendale Phoenix borderline, right? The park is really big. I think it's probably maybe a half mile. I'm not sure. It's huge, right? I'm not sure how big. Yeah, I think a half mile is 5 minutes. So yeah, it's a half mile long. I don't know measurements much, but let's just say if I was walking from that park to the end of it, it'll probably take me 5 minutes. Well, yeah, I got my fast walker, but for a lot of people, let's just say maybe 20 minutes. It's a huge park, right? Lots of trees, and there are basically some wooden benches. And also, one thing that parks should have is water fountains as well, right? I know they would get vandalized and whatnot. I mean, look at schools. They get vandalized too, but they still have them, right? That's another thing, because I think I noticed that maybe many parks don't have those. That's another thing, right? And also, I'm not sure if this is true though, but some parks don't have machines. You know, that'll make a lot of money for the city as well. And let's just say that you can actually have some healthy snacks as well. right? For people that want to just buy this basically high calorie chips, my opinion. And of course, of my city's origin, we have street vendors. That's another thing that streets should have. That way more people can be more active. If that actually makes sense. And I don't know. That's just how I see it. Because in the park that I always pass by, I think I even have some video footage, right? When I see people, and these are foreigners, by the way. They look like they're Africans, but they don't look African. It's interesting. I'm not sure what countries they're from. Because I would see during Saturdays or Sundays, they would play soccer. It's awesome. They would be playing that, and then there was other people that would be playing baseball, but those are the kids. And then I would see some people playing volleyball and then basketball. We need diversity in these spaces because how it can be more active. Yeah, even for the ones that are lonely and are not able to form friendships, at least you get out, and just just get some fresh air. Us humans, we're not going to evolve much if we basically don't have these spaces, right? It actually makes sense. I know this is futuristic, but it's hard to explain it. Because at least I know, well, I haven't been to the park in so long after what happened to us, but I remember, this would be a little bit random for people that want to park or whatnot. I think they did have some cool, oh, I think it was those cool, like a little electric vacuums. They could clean your. It's like, let's just say a little station. Think about when you're in the car wash, but without washing your car, right? Oh, they should have that. Oh, damn, that's another good idea for people that are driving a long way. You know, I know this is seem a little bit silly. You would pay just, let's just say maybe like a small amount of change or something just to clean your car or just to vacuum it. Let's just say if you basically are a family, your children would eat a lot in the car, and you would basically pay money just to clean up your own vehicle, right? Something like that, and there'd be a little parking area. Of course, I mean, every park should have one, obviously. Or at least our park does. It's supposed to be a Pandora park because there was something interesting that I remember when I documented. It was kind of cool though. I forgot what it was. I think it's for Tesla vehicles, right? They could fill up gas or whatever it is that they use. I think, which is pretty cool, honestly. And also, I'm thinking for people, let's just say, I know this is gonna sound dumb, but there should be maybe a certain parking spot for people that are, I don't know, let's just say homeless, for example, but they're not doing drugs or something, right? They have like a little free space that they can park in. That way they don't get arrested or basically get some dumb warning if they have like a long trip somewhere, if they basically have to get somewhere to get by. I don't know. Like let's just say if you're homeless but you set up a vehicle, right? And I don't know. Okay, that sounds a little bit silly. I don't know how to describe it. It's hard to describe it because I know parks they have certain hours that people should be going at night. I get that. I don't know. These are just some ideas I'm thinking how adult parks should be. I know the vending machine that'd be one thing. That could sell beverages, water, Arizona tea. Well, let's just say Fiji. Fiji water, just water bottles, Aquafina, Snapple, or even root beer mug or A&W root beer. There's all types of beverages. It'll make the city a lot of money if they actually do that, right? Of course, I'm not sure how it's like if people will leave trash around. Well, they should basically have some big trash cans and with a sign that people could, let's just say, dispose and even recycle. That will make the park much cleaner, and again, it will make a ton of money. It will make their city, which attract more visitors, which will help them get a bigger population, right? Because I know they probably don't want to move that population because it shows maybe they have a high crime rate. I think that's why some people here, because my experience, I really felt any danger. Yes, we do have crime and whatnot, but it's not Memphis or Chicago or Buddha forbid, um, Atlanta, if they're that dangerous. I don't know, right? Oh, heck, even especially Baltimore or even Oakland, nowhere near that. So that's how I feel of adult playgrounds. That should be a thing because it would help a lot of us adults in human society to not die by suicide, to interact with other adults, and to basically be more of a community. Not just going to just bars where you drink. Nothing wrong with that, but there are people like me that don't want to go to bars where there is alcohol involved. To just well, that's just one thing I can think of. Because what if there's let's just say what if there isn't a library that people like to read books, right? That's another place I can think of. I don't know. What do you think? Also, it's 10:42 right now. The 6th of July on a Sunday, and so when I'm really feeling depressed, I tend to talk a little bit more sluggish. But these are just basically some ideas that I wanted to share of us adults that need to have adult playgrounds. And it should be more legalized, my opinion.